It's all about family business on my North End. Richie checks out 2 restaurants, but 1 family.
Julia Childs used to sit at that table, right here.
Alex loves this mother-daughter team with heart and soul.
I love her and I love what she's done with the business.
And Joe visits one of his favorite couples.
That's the way it came from Italy.
What part of Italy?
Where the musical part.
All that and more.
What's the story with this picture of a cop holding a poodle?
On
My North End. This is a very special My North End because it's all about family business. First up, one of my favorite North End couples. Vinyl is back in a big way. Of course, you could find it in the North End, right here at Good Taste Records.
I'm Lindsay Smith.
And I'm Cody Smith. And
with Neptune, we run Good Taste Records.
Where did you come up with the idea of opening up a record store in the North End?
I think one of the things that has always crossed our minds as record collectors was that wouldn't it be cool to have a shop one day? It was something that we started putting some more thought into and really tried to see how could we make this a thing.
We picked the North End because we live here and we wanted to bring music to the North End. Here's a few more that came in today.
Okay, thank you.
It's a little scary opening a business, but the minute our customers come in, everyone is so passionate. They're just so excited.
We've been overwhelmed with the amount of support that everybody in the neighborhood has brought us.
What can people expect to find here when they walk in?
You know, while we have a large selection of used records that have been played before by others, we also have a selection of new records. They've never been played by anybody before. Different rock albums like Talking Heads, brand new remasters, Stop Making Sense, some of the early Prince work that he did, Frank Sinatra, classic album here in the neighborhood, hip hop, which includes guys like MF Doom. They carry a lot of soundtracks. New Twisters album, all types of music.
Tell me about some of the events here.
We work with different labels and marketing groups. We'll partner with them to do in-store listening events, get people to come into the shop before the album's available on streaming, before you can even buy it, and come to listen with dedicated and heartfelt fans of that artist.
You have a listening room here?
We have a listening booth. You can sit back and listen to some music.
Makes a record store a place to hang out. Those spaces are harder to come by nowadays.
Now the big question, what's it like working with your spouse?
We kind of feed off each other. He turns me on to new music. I turn him on to new music. It doesn't really feel like work. You just listen to music with your spouse.
We've been together a long time, and I think it took being together all those years to finally be ready to go in to work with each other every day. And
the best thing is just turn each other on.
That's exactly it. That's exactly
just
it.
to music. No, just kidding.
Are you familiar with this?
Mamma mia, look at this here. That's great. Did you have that done, or that's where the album came from?
That's the way it came from Italy.
This album actually came from Italy.
It did.
What part of Italy?
Where the musical part.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Lindsay and Cody are beautiful people. Please come down to Good Taste Records and experience this store.
In our opinion, the North End is the heart and soul of Boston. So it's only appropriate that the next family business is heart and soul.
I'm Elaine DeGangi.
And I'm Gina DeGangi. And together we run Heart and Soul.
Where'd you come up with the name Heart and Soul?
I started the business when I was 60 years old. I was changing careers in my life. It was nerve-wracking, so I figured to start a successful business, I would really have to put my heart and soul into the business to let it work.
So why is it S-O-L-E and not S-O-U-L?
When I first opened the business, the North End was lacking a shoe store. So I thought I would come in and do more shoes and few accessories before I ever had the clothing. So that's where the soul came from. The soul of a shoe.
So you have a lot of great stuff here. Some of it's really high end, but some of it's really affordable. You could walk in here with $100 and get a few great things.
Absolutely. Our most expensive item is probably $125, but most of our items are under $100.
It's a great place to shop as a tourist, but you're really a neighborhood store.
I'm born and brought up here, So we do cater to the neighborhood. It's a small business, but we're big on community.
So I know you have something for the fellas, right?
So when my daughter came on board, she always had the vision of incorporating a men's line.
We started Heart and Soul for the fellas about 2 months ago. So there's men's candles, there's men's golf wear, footwear, jewelry, leather goods. Everything that we have in here, we incorporated it for the men. When you come in the store, you see the small rack of clothing, which is just a sample of what we have online. Then you go in here to the iPad. Everything on our website is stored here. So with the iPad, you can see the entire collection, you could see prices, you could see the sizes we have in stock, the different colorways. Then from there, we can go get it immediately.
So what's it like working with your mom?
I think the best part about working with my mom is she let me express myself, gave me free reins with little jabs here and there to point me in the right direction, but she gave me a lot of creative freedom to work here. And this is probably the greatest gift she's ever given me is the store.
We were always close, always had a great rapport. But doing this together and her taking over my baby that I started, what she's done with this business, I'm so proud. I love her. I love her and I love what she's done with the business.
We look forward to keeping you up on all the news at Heart and Soul. And if you like keeping up on news, check out the next family business right up the street. Imagine this, you come here from Italy with your family. You don't know the city, you don't know the people, you don't even know the language. Where do you start? Well, for many Italian families, it was with La Gazette del Massachusetts, now named Post-Gazette. The newspaper was founded by James Donnarumma more than a century ago. For many Italians, it became a weekly guide to life in Boston.
I'm Pam Donnarumma, and I'm the third-generation publisher of the Post-Gazette newspaper.
So Pam, how did this family business start?
It started with my grandfather, James. When he came to this country, the Italians needed a voice because they didn't have a voice. They spoke Italian, they didn't speak English, and he started a newspaper. My father, Caesar Donnarumma, he took over the newspaper when my grandfather died. And then when my father died, my mother took over as editor. Then when my mother died, I took over as editor.
You grew up in it.
I grew up in it, yes.
So why was this paper so important to Italian immigrants?
Well, they had no other vehicle when they came here. They had nothing when they came here, absolutely nothing. There were no rich Italians coming here. They left their country because they were so poor. They had nothing. They came with a little suitcase. So they needed a vehicle to help them find stores, meet people, start businesses. And so the newspaper helped them with that.
Tell me about some of the biggest stories your family's covered.
Probably Sacco and Vanzetti.
They covered that?
Well, yeah, they were around then. Politicians. President Kennedy, he's behind you. Ted Kennedy, he would come in with a cup of coffee all the time and sit. Governor Volpe, we did a lot of stories on them. The molasses, anything that went on. I mean, they did a story on everything.
How is the paper still important to the North End community today?
I think they like it probably because we don't do sensationalism. We just do something for the people. We give opinions on both sides, and we're not just one-sided. We make a lot of noise, like the nursing home. All of a sudden, they decided, you're not going to have a nursing home anymore. Well, you know what? It wasn't going to happen. That nursing home was built by the North End people. A group of us got together, and we fought it. And now we have it. As long as it's important, we'll keep doing it.
What would you like the Post-Gazette's legacy to be?
I think it is what I'd like it to be. It's got a good reputation. It's an honest newspaper. We're for the people, and I really like that. That's what my parents and my grandfather wanted, and that's what it's all about, I think.
I love this place.
We leave it the same way. Actually, this office is exactly the way my mother and father left it. I haven't changed a thing. And some people will come in and say, why don't you clean this up? And why don't you?
Why would you?
Why? And I say, why? What would you look at when you come in?
What's the story with this picture of a cop holding a poodle?
My mother always had a little poodle. And Dr. Zullo, he was being Paul Revere. He used to bring his horses down for Paul Revere. And Gino kept running up the street, and he scooped him up, and he went down the street on the horse. There's lots of memories, good memories.
Pam, you and your family have done so much for the North End community over the years. Thank you for letting us tell your story today.
Thank you for coming in.
Well, you can't do a family business show without including a restaurant.
Hey, Richie, this is a tough one because we have so many to choose from.
I think we picked a good one. Same family, 2 locations. I'm here on Salem Street, home of 2 restaurants but 1 owner.
Hi, I'm Carla Gomez, and I'm the owner of Antio Forno in Terramere in the North End of Boston.
You have 2 restaurants. How did it all start?
It all began in 1993 when I met my former partner, Mario Nocera. We opened Terra Mia Ristorante together. Terra Mia changed the way that people really eat in the North End. Mario brought real, authentic Italian food from Salerno. 3 years later, we opened Antio Forno. Antio Forno was called Old Oven, and the reason why we called it that was there was an old abandoned library they were knocking down, and they were all old bricks, and Mario asked if we could take the bricks. We brought in an Italian guy from Naples. He built the oven from the ground up. The oven is also insulated with volcanic ash, and it's the only oven that has a double dome. The double dome insulates the oven along with the volcanic ash, and that's how Antio Forno was born, Old Oven.
How does it feel to be on Yelp's top 100 list?
Oh, that was quite an honor. We really take pride in Neapolitan pizza, making it right, preparing the dough correctly, and the fermentation and everything that goes along with making a Neapolitan pizza. We have a true Neapolitan pizza here.
This is really good pizza.
This pizza is second to none. To be voted in the top 100 spots, an unbelievable honor. My name's Bobby Agrippino, and I own North End Boston Food Tour. This is one of my stops. I bring them in, I get things started with a dish of pasta and a Neapolitan-style pizza.
My brother was born and raised here. He'll tell you all the little secrets of everything that went on in the North End throughout our childhood. He knows all the things that most of these corporate places do not know.
And I go through all the mom and pop shops of the area. I get into the Italian culture. I share personal stories.
You eat so much food on his tour. Best food tour in Boston.
How is Antio Forno different from Terra Mia?
Antio Forno is more Southern Italian food. It's pizza, it's pasta, it's appetizers.
He's a master chef, folks.
More like a trattoria. We also have a bar here. Terra Mia is more regional Italian. The food is a little bit more upscale.
Here we are in Terra Mia. It's a different look, it's cozier, and it's a little upscale.
12 tables, tablecloths, very cozy, it's very homey. A lot of people feel like they're eating in their grandparents' dining room or their mother's dining room, and that's the feeling that we've been trying to provide here.
So Carla, we're outside here, Terra Mia. Tell me about Julia Child.
They put us on Chronicle one night, and Julia Child heard about it from Chronicle. She came in, and she used to sit at that table.
Right at this table, right here.
Right here. She used to come in once a week, once every couple of weeks. When Julia Child comes to your restaurant, everybody finds out about it. And then from Julia Child coming in, we got actors, the Red Sox, Patriots come in, just a whole bunch of people. It just exploded.
Tell us how you support the cure for diabetes.
My son David was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and I've been very involved with the Joslin Diabetes Foundation, where he actually is a patient still. My main focus with the Joslin Diabetes Center was to give back for all the good care that they have given to my son David throughout the years. I always felt I had to find a way to pay that back, and I think through the fundraisers that we had here in the restaurant, trying to give back for all they have given to my family and to my son.
Thanks for having us in. Best of luck.
You can come in anytime, come to Antio, come to Terra Mia for dinner. We'd love to have you guys back. We really appreciate your time.
Joe, I know this spot brings back a lot of good memories.
It does, Richie, because as a kid, I worked in a family business that once stood here. This building here, where Strager's Restaurant is, used to be the grocery store for the North End. I worked here for Frankie Marrow, who was the proprietor of the grocery store. It was the place to come and do your grocery shopping. I worked after school and on a Saturday. Frankie Marrow was an innovator. He was the first guy that did aisle shopping. You walked down the aisles to do your shopping, you turned around and went down another aisle to pick up what you wanted. Frankie Marrow was an excellent guy, good guy. He was fair to everybody. All the customers loved him. They kept coming back every week. His father came in and out of the place, helped out a little bit, and I remember he would make a couple of shopping bags full of groceries, and then I have to take it up to on Clark Street to his mother and father's house. This is 23 Clark Street, where Frankie Marrow lived with his mother and father and his 3 beautiful sisters. His 3 sisters' names were Jenny, Mary, and Frances. They were all beautiful women, intelligent, and famous in their own way. Little known fact, Frances was the first woman in the North End to graduate from college.
Joe, did you notice we had an announcer at the beginning of the show? Anybody you know, Joe?
Yeah, Richie, it's my very talented grandson, Rocco. Check out the graphic he did for us. He is an amazing kid.
Wow, Joe, beautiful work. Well, that's it for this episode. Keep watching My Not Then on YouTube and subscribe.
It's free!